Alright, bit of a weird upload schedule with these. I'm hopefully getting this one out on the 31st as originally planned. People don't seem to realize that I'm moving to Tuesday, Thursday schedule, but whatever. Here's the start of Sector 3. It's gonna go by really quickly because I did a lot of, like, attempted recordings at this that didn't go well, so I pretty much know what I'm doing here. But, yeah, coming up is the mandatory missile that is no longer mandatory. It's really weird, and I'll be explaining more of it once you see it. I kind of don't want to explain the trick until it happens. But,
I like those wall mouth enemies there. Those always look kind of cool.
Yeah, so here's the missile right here. Normally it's just completely in your path, and I'll just do some random shenanigans here, and you'll see what happens.
Oh, I've never seen this one before.
Yup.
Alright then.
So that trick was apparently discovered sometime last year, I think. Basically, you have to... And the whole reason you have to do that is to skip this barrier thing here, by the way. I'm actually going to explain that trick in a minute, because right now we're going to cut back to something else.
Yeah.
Before I knew that trick existed, I tried many times to do it this way, because this is the first one that people discovered. And we get frame by frame.
Ooh.
This is actually, believe it or not, me playing frame by frame. Like, the recording is still in real time. I pause the emulator and I advance at one frame at a time while still doing input.
I'm not even sure what you're doing.
Basically, you have... You remember the barrier that I said that was the whole point of, like, trying to bypass that missile? You can kill it with a shine spark, but to get a shine spark up there, you have apparently 7 frames in which you can potentially have, like, imperfect movement, and the rest of it has to be absolutely frame perfect.
Ooh.
So you have less than a quarter of a second that you can waste. And so this is not, like, task perfect what I'm doing here, but this is just showing, like, I'm trying to be as precise as possible. And I get up here, and it's like, okay, now I gotta get in the room and drop off the ledge. No, it's gone.
Oh.
Like, I didn't have enough time to make it. Now, I tried this a crap ton of times. This was only one attempt that you're seeing here. But, like, you could go back and look at the footage and see, like, I was specifically trying to make the jumps as perfect as possible. That thing is so precise. I don't know how people do it, because people have actually done that live in, like, single-segment speedruns and crap.
Ugh. Thousands of hours of practice.
Yeah, it's, like, it's unbelievable.
Some of the, like, speedrunners, just the number of times they play the game is insane.
But,
Crazy props to them.
So since the rest of this that's going to happen here for the next few minutes is fairly normal, I'll go ahead and explain what happened back in that other scene. As I've kind of touched on before, for a long time, basically ever since this game was released up until a few years ago, it was assumed the lowest you could do for this game was 1% because of that one particular missile. And then the frame-perfect shine spark thing was discovered, and then just last year the other trick was discovered. That other trick is not very well documented. I had to kind of do a little bit of searching for it, and the problem is, like, I found a YouTube video that showed it off first, and then I tried to replicate it and couldn't, and I tried to look at, like, speedrun posts. Like, I went to Speed Demos Archive, I went to Metroid 2002, looking up all these topics, and none of them actually talk about it. Like, I've not seen a single post explain that trick. So I basically I analyzed the footage really carefully, and then I finally realized what I was doing wrong. You have to bomb out the block, stand up in it, run to the left, then go into Morph Ball, and then basically on the exact frame that the block completely solidifies, you unmorph and you do, like, a jump to the right, and by doing that, it warps you into the wall. And then once you're in the wall, you face right, press A, like, once, and it does, like, this little double hop, and you appear inside a different wall. Then you face left, do another double hop, and then you're out.
That must have happened by pure random chance, and then someone just kept on trying to do it over and over again until it happened again.
Yeah, apparently you can do that trick in a lot of places and get out of bounds and skip sections, but I don't know the specifics of it. That's the only part I've ever seen it be used. But the part that I didn't get when I was doing that trick is the part where you specifically have to run left while standing inside the gap, because it's a difference of like 1 pixel.
I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, because it's like, I got into the gap, I stood up, I like made sure I was in it properly by standing up, and then I started to do the thing, and I got to the point where I was trying the frame advancing shit again, like analyzing the original video frame by frame, seeing like, okay, this is when they do the jump, and I'm trying to repeat it, and I just couldn't get it to work. Turned out I had to be 1 more pixel to the left.
That must have taken forever.
It was so stupid. And then the thing is, once I figured out the trick, I could get it, like, first try every time. It's, like, once you know the setup, it's really easy.
Yeah, well, at that point, you've got your muscle memory down.
So anyway, here's a robot. I don't know
This
what...
was always kind of an easy boss, I thought. You haven't been hit by it yet.
Yeah, it's hard if you don't know what you're doing, but when you realize how its bombs work, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention. What item did I frickin' get? Super missiles?
Did you even get an item from it? It just kind of took off.
Well, I got an item before it, while I was talking.
Oh. I didn't notice.
Don't remember what the heck it was. But yeah. So that's obviously the main part of the video, just that trick, and it goes by in the first 2 minutes, so... The rest of this is just kind of typical exploring and usual gameplay stuff, but
Side hoppers.
I don't remember how many unwarranted deaths there are in this segment, if there even are any, so I guess we'll get to see. Your mic okay?
Yep, just had cat making noises beside it and taking care of things.
Oh, I kept hearing like a little popping thing. But yeah, that was, that trick there was kind of like my first big hang-up, because when I decided I was going to start playing through this, I knew I was eventually going to have to do the, like, 7-frame trick, and I am thinking that there's no way I'm going to be able to pull this off, like, even with save states, and luckily I just happened to find that that other method existed.
Yeah, I
'Cause
can't even imagine how you would have been able to get past that. Yeah.
like, with enough practice, I probably could have been able to do it, especially since I have save states and other people have done it on console. Like, most people do it with, when I say most people, I mean, like, the 1 or 2 people that can do it. They pause buffer
You're
it.
not one of them.
So, like, basically, as soon as they get into that room, they just start mashing the start button while doing the movements in order to get the frame-perfect movement. And I tried doing that, but, in some games, like Ocarina of Time, when you pause buffer, you can, like, hold down a direction or a button on the pause screen, and then when you unpause, it'll act as if you're just now pressing that button. This game doesn't do that. So you have to unpause, and then, like, on the exact frame that it unpauses, you hit the button you need, and I don't know how you get that kind of reaction time.
Yeah, who are those shadow people that were on the computer back there?
You're not supposed to know at this point of the game. It's basically just some mysterious figure saying, like, hey, does Samus suspect us? And you eventually find out, but not for a while.
Yeah. Don't remember that at all.
There is a conspiracy.
Yep. What's wrong in this part?
So, yep, here's Sector 6. We've now
Hey,
been
Varia.
We've been in every one except for 5 at this point. This is the one that's just dark and not much else.
Night area.
It's like, I guess it's supposed to be the cave.
Oh, Nocturnal, I guess, or something.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of funny because when you think of Metroid areas, most of them are just kind of generic caves, and this is the generic cave of the game.
Yeah, like most of my Like Zebeth is just a cave system.
Gotta go through green groundy area.
That's to the left of blue groundy area.
You said that you just kind of have a general idea of where stuff is, right?
Yeah, basically what colors are in what kind of areas. And it's all caves, so you know it's basically random.
Yeah.
The bar I have a map for.
Yeah, I think I've seen the bar map. I like the giant tunnels that Ophelia dug underneath it.
Just adding her into the comic was just awesome. The bouncer. I will bite you in half.
So this place is actually fairly threatening because these blue X take out like half of your health in one touch.
Those robotic arm things on the ceiling look like they should be grabbing you or something. That'd be a cool enemy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I was talking over the dialogue as usual, the blue X are basically frozen, and because you have Metroid DNA, you're still vulnerable to cold, and they're specifically trying to get absorbed to damage you.
Jerks. This is a nice cave-looking background.
Yeah, I generally consider this game inferior to Zero Mission, as I've talked about before, but I do like the graphics in it. Zero Mission has kind of a comic booky feel, which is also good, but I think this one's a little bit better, like nicer looking overall.
Yeah, I got some good graphics in this one. Ooh, maybe I can work some of these enemies into Crocomire High Top.
When's the last time you did one of those?
Yeah, it's been a bit. Kind of running out of characters that, like, I know how they move and stuff, and they're the same size as
And energy
Crocomire
tank.
Hunter thereabouts. Ah!
And reset. Let's try it again.
Don't.
Shine Spark didn't work. And...
Steady.
nope.
Dang it! Hey!
I always overthink these things. And then here's me, like, moving one pixel at a time for forever. Trying to not nudge into it.
Yeah. To do a 0% run on a console, that...
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially try it. I do have this on the 3DS. But,
Oh, hey.
I did Zero Mission 10% hard mode on the actual console, and I think that was good enough.
Yeah, I think I just finished the game once, maybe twice, I can't remember. Maybe twice.
For Zero Mission?
No, for this one, Fusion.
Okay.
Zero Mission, actually, the first time I played it, I completely skipped one of the bosses accidentally.
Which one?
Showing Spark past something, and it was the bee-looking one?
Oh, the one that guards the super missiles?
Yeah, I think I accidentally skipped him somehow and only found him the second time around.
I think I did something similar to that, because, I was familiar enough with the NES game to know where most of the items, at least vaguely, were, so I managed to sequence break my way to the Varia suit, my first time through the game, just by doing infinite bomb jumping up to it. And then, I think I got a super missile earlier than the game had intended, and you're supposed to get it from that weird bee boss, and I don't remember my first playthrough that well, but something weird like that happened.
I just figured out how to shine Spark while ducking, or like rolling, so I was kind of like going all over the place with that and accidentally found a super missile or whatever.
Yeah, there's one Brent Star that you get that way.
uh,
That's the game that I know the power-up location's the best, I think. Other than the first
Metroid 1 I've
game.
probably memorized.
So right there, I didn't get all my health back because I went through the door transition too quickly, so that's always fun.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised your health didn't keep going up after you went through the door.
And here's this thing.
Oh, I don't remember you.
It's fairly generic, and it kicks my ass. So,
At least 40 health, I think.
so let's, are we gonna get a death montage here? I don't remember how many times I die against this thing, actually. You'd think I would remember since I edited this footage like a week ago. I'll tell you what, though, it's not the spider. The spider is the real piece of shit in this game. We're gonna get to that one, I think, in the next segment.
It'd be really nice if those little, like, pods on the side, like, dropped health.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh! So close.
Yeah, whenever you die to that final part, it's always just kind of embarrassing, because they're not very mobile or difficult at all. Also, I like how this thing is just, like, the pixels on it are expanded and it looks kind of not good.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have drawn that one better. That just size times 300 or whatever. Which, to be fair, I use in my comic a fair amount.
If it works. They do it in Mario Maker.
Usually it's when I'm trying to turn a sprite diagonal that it, like, looks like hell and I have to fill
Oh,
in.
yeah. Because Paint doesn't really have an easy way to do that.
Yeah, and I don't like anti-aliasing or whatever, so... yeah, make it look close enough. Ah!
Yeah, we're still failing against this thing.
So how come you're not using your missiles? Or does this do more damage?
I think this does more. I'm actually not sure. It's also just because the, I think if the missile hits the little barrier thing, it stops and does no damage to the main part, whereas the charge beam kind of goes through. But there, I just kind of killed it off screen, so, alright.
Yeah, you kind of stun-locked it off screen there. And it refilled your health before it even died.
Okay. One more for good
Of course,
measure.
taking a while. Get back here, you. Yay!
So now we get the really ugly-looking suit. It turns from blue and yellow to chartreuse and, like, fuchsia. I don't know what this color combination is.
Yeah, it's almost closer to the original suit, but not. I want to call it snot-colored.
A little bit, yeah. In my, like, toaster-quality Metroid Prime playthrough, I actually have this suit throughout the majority of it, because you can unlock this by linking up the two games. I don't know
Purple blobs
why,
that are kinda cool.
because the original one is way better looking.
Yeah.
So interesting coding here. At this point, because the X don't know you have the Varia suit yet, they actually do fly into you. And after, like, that first room, they catch onto it and start avoiding you at that point. So it's kind of cool that they actually did that.
Ah. Or baby caterpillars.
That do, like, 60 damage.
Didn't even catch that.
I don't know if it was 60, but yeah, like, nudging up
Up
against
there.
a caterpillar really should not do that much damage. Or any at all. Unless they're, like, corrosive. And
Oh, wall jump.
come on, wall jump. Whatever.
Yeah, now it's raining. Kinda.
Yeah, on the plus side, if you do absorb them, they heal more health than the little yellow ones do, but they actively avoid you.
Yeah. Little spiky fur things. I guess those would be the zoomers.
They kind of seem like them, yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
that's
those
it for this.
caterpillars look pretty poisonous. They're pretty neon and stuff.
Yeah. So, the first time I played this game was on the original GBA. The SP hadn't been released yet, and I just remember like, because that thing is insanely dark and you can't ever see anything on it, I struggled a bit with certain parts of the game, but this was kind of where it got worse because it was specifically dark. And I remember also accidentally discovering like a missile location or something where there's just a wall that looks like a completely solid wall and you can bomb it and lead to another room, and I was very annoyed by that because I hadn't been, like, if I had played the other Metroid games before this, I would have been like, yeah, that's about right, but I was annoyed by the fact that there was no indication, and it kind of turned me off, and I think this was where I stopped playing for a few months, and then when I got the SP later with the backlight, then I picked it up again.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, the SP was front-lit. It wasn't, it was like, I don't
It
know.
was lit in some manner, good enough.
Yeah, it's like you could see it, but there was also a little bit of a glare still. It took them a while to eventually get one that was not awful.
Did you ever have the little tangly attachment thingy like for the original Game Boy?
Like
There's a little kind of coily wire with a light bulb at the end so you could like point it at your screen and it plugged into the side port.
I had this thing that clipped onto the top of it, and it was like a screen magnifier with a light. And there was also a random attachment that made the buttons bigger, and I don't know why anybody would ever need that, but I used it because it was bulky and stupid looking, so...
I did have one big joint thing with side speakers. Oh. It was kind of cool, just the little accessories that were available. There's probably still a pile of them available for the current ones.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, this video is running a little bit longer than some of the last ones, but I figured, like, if I had ended it here, it would have been too short, so I'm like, we'll go through Sector 5, it doesn't take that long.
Sure. Got 2 of the locks open.
Kind of interesting how this game you use the Varia suit to avoid the super cold areas. It's usually the opposite.
Oh, yeah. Haha, I guess that does make sense and all that.
Super was the first one that made it, like, temperature protection, right? Because in the first game, I think it was just a defense boost.
Yeah. And let's see, number 2... Yeah, they didn't let you go through lava or anything.
Because it's I think I read somewhere that it's just a mistranslation of barrier.
I think I remember reading that too somewhere. Something.
Aren't these Metroid 2 enemies?
Yeah, definitely. I remember using those in the comic. They had a big part, actually.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a big giant room full of them that Samus got into.
I remember, there's like this weird bat with a proboscis that dangles down, and I remember Kraid being amused by it. And there's that weird enemy that, like, drips out of the ceiling and then somehow teleports back into the ceiling to drip out again. And I remember that one showing up at some point, but I don't think it did anything noteworthy.
Yeah, I think that was just a one-off thing, I can't remember.
I don't understand what that enemy is even supposed to be.
Annoyance. Oh hey, there's the waivers.
Is that what they are? They have the movement pattern of them.
Yeah, they're the openy, closey type of clam-looking things.
Yeah.
Those ones I don't recognize. Might be a Metroid 2 thing. Oh man, they do kind of reuse a lot of character-type stuff. Makes sense. It's supposed to be a space station where they're storing all these things.
Yeah. I find it kind of funny how, if you're looking at just the side-scrolling ones, like, 1 and 3 are on the same planet, so obviously they're going to have the same enemies, and Metroid 2 kind of has its own ecosystem going. Then, when you look at the Prime series, it's like these are all totally different planets, sometimes multiple in the same game, and they usually have, like, the same enemy archetypes, but with different names. Like, you've got the little ground crawly things, you've got annoying flying things, you've got some variation on the war wasp. Like,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, we'll just name this one something slightly different.
Yeah, or basically, or throw an adjective in front of it or something.
Yeah, it's like in Prime 1, you have the icy shriek bats that show up in one very small cluster in a room, and that's the only room they're ever in the entire game. And after
Just accidentally miss-scanning something.
Yeah, and after you beat a boss, I think Thardus, they just disappear from the game entirely.
Oh. Although right at the start, if you don't scan some of those things on that, when you first start out, then you're basically like... Yeah. First time I played, I missed that, but I don't think I ever got 100% scan anyway.
I haven't actually done a full playthrough of that game in a while. I've kind of been feeling like it.
Yeah, I kind of want to replay all of the primes back-to-back at some point or another. Eventually.
Yeah, I recently, when I say recently, I mean probably like 6 months ago, went through Prime 3 with Joel here, and that's my least favorite of the trilogy, and I kind of feel like I'm just sort of done with that game now, but I don't know, I might record it at some point just so I can complain about it. Because I found that one had a lot of weird design choices.
Prime 1 was amazing, though. Oh,
yeah.
Music and everything.
That's one of my top 3 favorite games of all time.
Actually, the gallery from Metroid Prime is where the tattoo on my back is from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty close to the ending here. Let's see. It's got a couple minutes left. Oh yeah, the data run. That's why we even came here in the first place.
Hey! Ice missiles!
Ice missiles are kind of funky.
Alright, the diffusion ones were the ones that all spread out and stuff.
Yeah, those come quite a bit later on. So here I'm like, well, why can't I go back? Oh yeah, this thing.
A little bit back and forth.
You know, actually, I was thinking of this earlier when I was saying about how, just basically talking about absorbing the X parasites and how this game has those be the health system. I find it kind of funny how in Prime 3, at the very beginning of the game, you have the normal health pickups, and then after like the major cutscene where you get the Phazon suit thing and can absorb the Phazon energy, those pickups are just nowhere to be seen in the rest of the game again. Like,
really?
they're completely gone and replaced with bits of Phazon that you absorb.
Huh.
They actually specifically coded a different health pickup for like the first 10 minutes.
That's kind of unusual, but alright. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and they're a separate scan too. And that game also has like 50 different pirate types, because that's just the majority of the enemies you fight. So
I do kind of like the fact that there's different pirate types.
it's like you were saying with the adjectives, they have this list of like 15 different adjectives for the pirates, and they just kind of combine them in different ways. So you've got your aerial pirate, your aerial pirate trooper, your power aerial pirate trooper, like just...
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know if any of those are actually real ones, but it's something like that at least.
Yeah. Oh, I know who that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am very familiar with that guy. I have not recorded anything past that fight, actually.
Oh, I think that's my favorite boss in the entire game.
So, video's about to abruptly end here because I didn't realize as soon as I went through this door, we've got a bit of a crisis.
Oh, crap.
And over.
Alright then.
So next time we'll see what that's all about.